Hi, this is Greg. Look for my book, The Agile Brand, on Amazon or on my website at theagile.world. Welcome back to the Agile World. This is Greg Kihlstrom. In the last few episodes, I've talked about some of the things that have changed in the world and technology, in the marketing industry, and in society at large that have really brought about Agile brands. So I talked about social transformation, how I refer to really the change in shopping, buying, referring, word-of-mouth behavior, really brought about by the internet and more recently social media. Then I talked about brand as experience and brand as relationship, which has really allowed brands and consumers to have a meaningful relationship, an authentic relationship based on companies really understanding, anticipating, and being there for customers' real needs. Then I talked about market disruption. So, companies like Uber, like Netflix, like Square, who've really taken an industry and disrupted it, and changed how consumers and brands in some of those spaces really interact, changing the expectations that customers have in certain industries. In the last episode, I talked about exponential technologies, so things like personalization and automation, things that allow a company or a brand to reach a lot of customers in a very personalized way, in a really customized way that makes the experience for the customer authentic and unique, and yet doesn't create a lot of undue burden on the brand itself. And these exponential technologies really allow a brand to be more efficient and more effective because consumers are a lot more apt to be responsive when something is really tailored to them. Today, I'm going to talk about the modern customer experience and what I refer to as the device-agnostic consumer. So a question I often ask is, how many different ways can you interact with Amazon? So there's certainly you can send a message through their website. I've got an Alexa at home. You can ask a question to Alexa. You can tweet. Message them through Twitter, through Facebook. I even got them on the phone one time because it was just that urgent, and I guess I'm one of those people that when it's urgent, I pick up the phone and call. So that being said, the Agile brand really understands that consumers aren't necessarily thinking about the device or the platform or the method that they want to contact a brand when they need something. They're going to use what's in front of them. And so, they may use their laptop at work. They may use their tablet or their smartphone at home. Again, they may pick up the phone and call or call while they're in the car. Or if they have Google Home or Alexa or something like that, they may use that because it's convenient and the question is easy to ask. Brands really need to understand this, and they really need to embrace the fact that they need to be available on all of these channels. I had a customer once, a banking customer. Banking certainly a risk averse industry, and so. They told me once when we were talking to them about being on social media. At the time, they weren't on social media. They didn't have any presences, and their excuse for that was, we really don't want to. We don't want people to complain about us online, and we really don't want to have to deal with that. And so my answer to people like that is, well, you know what? They're probably already complaining about you. They're just complaining about you on a channel or a forum that you have no control over, and you have really no way to respond in a meaningful way. And so by simply not being on a channel, they were probably letting frustrated customers just rant and rave, and there was really no one there to either deflect the situation or offer to help or anything like that. And I think that's where social media in particular, it's as I mentioned, several episodes ago, it's such a public forum where customer service often plays out, and yet you kind of want that forum because if you don't have it, they're going to take their frustrations elsewhere, and they're probably going to get more frustrated. And if you delete their posts on your social media presence, don't ever do that for what it's worth. But if you delete them, they're going to get angrier, and they may not take their anger back to your channel where you can delete their post for a second time. They're probably going to take it somewhere else and complain in a way that you have no control over. So I think this, it's not just a negative example like I just brought up, but it's an opportunity, and, to be able to be flexible and in front of your audience in so many ways, and to really anticipate that they may have a need regardless of what platform, what device they may have in front of them. That is really what keeps an Agile brand, separate from or ahead of others, is really understanding that people want things when, where, how, and how they want it. So I think that's it's such a smart brands are doing that. They have those presences. The downside to that, I will say, particularly for smaller organizations, is if you're going to have a presence, you need to monitor it. So if you have a phone, you better pick up when someone calls. If you have a Twitter account, you better respond when someone tweets at you. So there is a bit of a burden. Obviously, larger companies, they have generally more resources to be able to do that. Smaller companies, it can be a tougher time, but you can manage that. You can manage expectations by clearly messaging what an account is meant for, and how to get in touch more directly, and stuff like that. But having a presence when someone is looking for you, you want to be found. And if you aren't found, again, if it's an opportunity to make a sale, you don't want them to find your competitor instead. If it's an opportunity where you could turn what might not be a great situation around, you want to be able to be there so you can either diffuse or help or stuff like that. In the next episode, I'm going to talk about Agile marketing and real-time data. Thanks for listening. See you next week. If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please rate the show on iTunes or contact me through my website at theagile.world. You can find my books, The Agile Brand and The Agile Web, on Amazon and on my website at theagile.world.